We would say Happy New Year, everyone. Okay, we'll go with the cliche. But welcome, everyone. Thank you for tuning in on this last day of 2024. We certainly appreciate it. We know that you have plenty of other places you can go that are buying for your time, but we appreciate it, and it's a great honor to have you here. And we just speak favor over you. I'm speaking for both of my beautiful, lovely co-hosts, and nothing missing, nothing broken. If you're going to make a resolution or wish, I think that's probably one of the better ones. So, welcome
Yeah.
everybody. Hello, everyone in the chat room. I see Lauren, Ginger in there, Mr. Floyd, Grandpa Brian. Imagine that. Rather good to see you. We speak favor over you. Operation Crossroads, Lady Ellie, Deborah Sloan, Chloe, Lost in Space, Walking Water, Off the Hook. Um, all the rest of you, Groovy P. Gilbert's in there. Joyce is in there. Mary Wins is in there. Loretta, sweet Loretta, thought she was a woman. Anyway, yeah, I can sing. I'm also a poet and I know it. So I just wanted to show it. So, hello, ladies. How are y'all doing? Happy New Year's, I guess, 2025. It's been a great year we've had here. We've had the interruptions, the ups and downs, but in the end, it turned around for all of us. So, welcome, Trina. Much love to you, darling, and Jenny. So, how are you ladies doing?
Wonderful.
Cool.
Mhm.
Jenny?
Trina's glow.
Huh?
Trina's glowing.
She is.
Am
But
I?
both of y'all
Hello.
glow all the
Glowing.
time.
Mm.
Um,
She is. She shines all the time, but she's glowing today. Vibrant.
you're a
Shields
Lovely.
up,
glow.
you
I
know?
love
I've,
it.
I've
Yeah.
been cooking lots. So yeah, it's been really
Mhm.
good. It's been lovely to have the family around and chill with them. And so yeah, that those these days for the work pattern that we've got, I'll take these holidays. Um, just for the time that you get to spend with people that usually like passing ships, catching
Hmm.
a conversation here and there. So yeah, it's been really good. And the kids have just been so childish this year, and it's been like beautiful. We've sat back and laughed and laughed and laughed. Me and Mum have just sat back and watched this sitcom play out between the three of them. Rosie being the oldest and really ruling the roost with her brothers. She trains them like she does her horses. Um, and so, but she's whipping them around, quite literally with tea towels sometimes, and
Yeah.
keep them in line and they were just having so much fun. I mean, they always do, but it was very pointed that, oh, this is a laughter holiday then. So this is the vibe we're going down, just absolute laughter. So yeah, it's been really, really, really nice. I don't know what's happening in the world. Don't really care right now. Um,
Yay.
just chilling.
Proverb says that laughter doeth the heart as a good medicine. And laughter is also probably one of the, in our quiver that we all have in our, weapons, because we all have them. But laughter is one of the more powerful aspects of love.
Yeah.
You can't, I don't know people who hate that laugh.
I know.
No,
I mean, I don't. I mean, but if I see someone laughing, genuinely, where it's this expression of joy and bliss
Yes.
and in love, you don't see hate there.
no, and it's contagious. It's
It
really
is.
contagious.
Yes.
Yeah.
The same way hate is, but hate can't quite be imprinted on too many other people around it, whereas laughter, people can't help but laugh along with, when they're if you put a hall full of people with some haters dotted around there, they wouldn't really have the impact, but you start off three people laughing and like you say, that expression just showing just unadulterated joy for whatever reason. You don't even have to know the joke. You don't even have to
No.
know what's and your brain makes that up for you, you know. You see your granny and suddenly you're remembering something about your granny that made her laugh, but it's the laughter, it's so contagious.
It's
And
in that memory
so,
crystal, we talk about. It's just and I'll tell you, one of the best therapies for all of us, I learned this decades ago, but if you can learn to laugh at yourself when you make mistakes or when you begin to think more highly of yourself and what have you, if you can learn to laugh at yourself, it's a good spiritual enema. That's all I got to say.
You know what
It'll.
I see with that? I've been seeing it a lot too. It's a pattern breaker. So
Mhm.
it changes the emotion, which changes the vibration, which changes the experience. And it's just a chain of events. It's laughter to the heart, a good medicine.
That's what it
It really
says.
is true.
Yeah.
Really is true. Yeah.
I wrote the book of Proverbs out by hand.
Hmm.
Then
That's
did
awesome.
a consort, the whole reference and yeah, so
Wow.
but it works, and it's true. And it says those who carry bitterness, their bones will dry. You know what dry bones are?
Arthritis.
Arthritis. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what is the number one ailment well, here in the United States, if you look at the drug commercials, rheumatoid arthritis, all
Uh-huh.
different variations. And arthritis is also the inflammation, the swelling.
Yeah.
which means
Yeah.
age of whack, which usually means like bitterness, acidity
Hmm.
can be in category. And so it goes through all of the layers of the body again, in that the diet that often people are either forced to be on or conditioned to be on or just don't know any different actually causes a bitterness in the body, which is a pH level that's too acidic.
I think
It's
that's
the
an effect
pH.
of processed food with the sugar
Yeah,
that they add into it. I mean, you're
it
not
is.
eating really food.
Hmm.
I don't
No.
know what the hell you're eating. I mean, and then you see the labels that say reprocessed processed food, and you're going, well,
What is
How?
that?
okay, I'm confused here. I mean, how do
Right?
it's like, yeah, but it's true, and it's that diet that's rich in fat and sugar that again, it brings on inflammation, and that's why most people get sick.
Yeah. I
It's,
don't know if
yeah.
you've said it. It sat with me of if it needs a label, then don't touch it. And I know that's a bit extreme
Or
because
if you
of
can't
the,
spell or even pronounce what the chemical is that's in the
yeah,
food,
just put
you
it
might
back.
not want to be consuming that,
Yeah.
you know?
And he described it, I'm sure it was a guy, but he described it. If it's a piece of meat, you should know by looking at it what it is. You should know about by your hand what it weighs. You should be using your body, to really forage your food and feel it through, even if it is in a store. And it really sat with me. And then he said, if you see some carrots or a salad bowl, it shouldn't have to have a long list, like you say, of
Shouldn't it? It should
inexplainable.
simply have one word, carrots, you know,
It's a salad,
Yeah.
salad with
nothing
cheese,
else to it.
nothing
And the
else to
taste
it.
food as well is that it lacks the essential minerals. I mean, I
Yes.
take supplements in a natural supplements to
Hmm.
supplement the minerals that were supposed to be. And as a kid, we grew up on a farm. We had those minerals.
Because they were
Yes.
in the soil as well. They're not in our
Yes.
soils now.
No,
They're
no,
not in
Yes.
our.
our soils are depleted. It's like, holy crap. And
Mhm.
kind of gets into, when we look at 2025, um, I just thought that, do y'all do any type of rituals or I asked the question, do you make resolutions?
This time of year, no. In spring, yeah. Spring's my, sort of resolution for what I want to grow and sow. So the seeds that I sow for intention or spring. Just
But
because
that
that.
the tradition of making the New Year's resolution. How about you, Trina?
No.
Yeah, I don't really have a focus for myself typically. It's for mainly like the world, what I want to see to happen in the year for the world. So I just kind of try to make it as big as I can go. And that's always kind of been my focus is peace, happiness, health, healing, just good things, good vibrations for the planet. Because if I see that, then everything in my world's going to be fine. So
Yeah, it's interesting because I went back and I was looking at some channels that made predictions for 2024, and you can go back and you can look at that. And one of the things I was left with was that what I actually hear people saying is more of the hmm, what's the right word? They're it's the negative aspect of their anticipation of the unknown. And although we like to say, the world's going to be in the most prosperous time ever, and there's going to be no country going against country, and we're going to figure out how we can actually live and love with one another of all colors, all races, all beliefs. And although that is a very positive affirmation and thought,
Hmm. Hmm.
so often what we want to hear is how bad is it going to get?
Yeah.
Mm.
We were talking about, and I saw Robert V on his channel with Lucky and Nina, and talking about the Simpsons, and how they have this uncanny knack of being able to somehow predict anything. And what's interesting is that that's not the right question. You're missing the point on the cartoon. You should be asking, who are these fucking writers? And exactly what kind of shit are they into that they can somehow or another pierce the veil? I did a video on Project Looking Glass, how they've got the device at S4 that actually will show you an infinite amount of futures. So the question I always ask myself on these predictions is, all right, how are they doing it? Is it a guess? Or do they have inside information? And if they have inside information, then that brings up the question, ladies, is the future already predetermined?
Hmm.
No.
So I think they do it in a multitude of ways, like any occultist or in any corporation for success. So the team of occultists in any big corporation for success will be looking at which financial backers they can get into their manifestation, which designers they can get onto their dream board, and then feel that they do use a lot of Tesla type teachings where they do go into a point of energy where they're able to see all of those components moving enough and create a plan. Then I think they put it out for our manifestation powers to make it real, which is the whole thing about
So who's making these
campaigning.
predictions? Are they human?
Well, who's
Think
human,
so.
but I don't think
I
so.
mean, have y'all
Not
seen,
fully.
by
No.
the way, a little side trip? Have you seen the group of people that can manifest into animals live on stage?
Wow.
I'll go
No.
ahead and y'all talk and I'll pull it up. You've got to see this. It's amazing that you have, I don't know if they're humans, but they literally change into
I
animals.
have seen a couple of those now that you're jogging my memory. Yeah, I was like, is that even real? I
Yeah,
was I'm
it's
like,
kind
what?
of like, okay.
Right.
Uh,
I was like, is
but
that real? I was like, or is that like AI generated good video? I don't know.
well, this was actually taken from America's Got Talent. So in here,
Oh,
I'll pull one of these up.
yeah,
So
I've
you
seen some
can.
really weird stuff on that show. I was like,
And so I'm not
wow.
violating any type of copyright, but it's just for
Awareness.
demonstrations as well. So let me pull in one of the better ones because, yeah, this one
Being a
is,
bit dangerous, putting shapeshifters on stage and maybe making them feel foolish that, shapeshifters are powerful beings if that's what they are. And to
yeah,
be
yeah.
on stage
Let me
like that.
pull this up. And like I said, YouTube, this is for discussion and education. I don't
Only.
make any
It's
money on this anyway, so
no.
but all right, so this is America Got Talent. Now watch the lady. Y'all ready?
Mhm.
Oh, I did see that.
Watch her. There's Cowan. And
Uh-huh.
there's a group there's like 7 or 8 of these people. They look at that. How'd she
The
do that?
reaction of the people is awesome.
Yeah, well, they wanted to get the hell out of there. You don't do this,
But
and
you
it's
know what's
not
so
over
funny?
yet.
I've seen a couple other ones. They have an old man who does it too.
Yeah,
Did you
the
see
old
that?
man is right after this.
Do you notice those are the same exact reactions, the same clothes, same clip?
These are just cuts of,
Yeah.
the thing. But what's interesting again is, so are we seeing the power of illusion here, or are we seeing something that's
Mm.
actually
Ah.
happening?
You know, magic is the ability to change the perception and change the
Yeah.
reality around you. So, if that's really happening, that's definitely magic.
Yeah. And there are others on here that just get really very strange, and I won't pull any more of those up. But anyway, I just
Wow.
thought, and the one that I saw where the woman was with her daughter, or what would appear to be her daughter, um, the daughter literally went inside her,
Oh my
and
gosh.
she had these bouquet of flowers, and they suddenly became a dress. And then the dress came on her. There was no way that she could have changed this. And then in one, she turns into this eagle, and the little girl turns into a fledgling.
Wow.
Just blows my mind. Anyway,
I think
Wow.
it's of illusion. I do, and I know they've got the technology for that type of illusion that
that's
they've
a
been
powerful
using.
illusion, you know.
Not just that.
Very
There's,
powerful. It's very much like the ones on the street, though, in Japan and whatnot, where they're on the street and it looks like the whale is literally jumping out.
Mhm.
Similar feelings to that for me. But what it does bring is I know that program, both British and USA, is a cult. Why are they normalizing it? That's the first thing to me because I feel like interactions with beings like that it is going to increase as the tectonic plates and the frequencies shift. I do think that's going to increase. And again, a little bit like The Simpsons, sometimes those shows give you a bit of a heads up as to what they're normalizing,
Yeah, yeah. I saw
in
Siegfried and Roy. I was on actually on the fourth row in the center seat,
wow.
and saw David Copperfield as
Mhm.
well. And so I understand the bit of illusion, but this is on a different level. This is on, these people are actually with, now, if it's an illusion we're seeing, which logic would say that's what's happening, the occultist in me, I grin at myself because you see, it's too fantastical to think that that's real. But
Yes.
what if you have to sometimes defy your own logic or what you have, what you think you know, and maybe say, yeah, maybe these are in fact shapeshifters. And because there's plenty of videos out there on shapeshifters, I've even done them.
100%.
So are we really seeing this ancient race of hybrid humans that have had this knowledge for millennia? This is this is how the world used to be when the realms were all blending. Um, there were these shapeshifters, and they could take the form of these magnificent animals. And we got the stories here of the skinwalkers.
Yeah. And the
That's just
Native
my thought. When
American, the animal totems too, it's always been a huge part of their belief. So, maybe
they say
that's what
Bigfoot
that
can
is.
actually shapeshift.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
And so getting into that, go, what's that, hon?
I wonder if it's something that's waking up, in the genetics, something that's waking up from the new light, the new logos that we're going into with the Aquarian age. And this isn't, I believe, this is, I know. So this means the great revealing truth is going to start coming out of different expressions of probably everything that we may not have seen for a very long time.
Yeah, I mean, if you and Jenny, I know you have this background as well. It's like I was saying yesterday, came out of the Pentecostal things where you had signs and wonders
Mhm.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
individuals that had certain anointings, certain callings had certain giftings.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the normal part of a person would say, no, that's not real. But when you add the spiritual, religious overtones to it, now it's suddenly God. And with
Holy
God,
Spirit,
everything's possible. Yeah, exactly.
miracle.
Bingo, you got it. I
Yeah,
mean,
Now
it's
everything's allowed all of a sudden.
what's
yeah,
that?
Everything's allowed all of a sudden too.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
look, other people would have walked into our churches sometimes, and if it hadn't have been a church per se, and of another
They had to run
religion,
out
or just
screaming.
covered, they would have run out. They would have had the
yep,
pitchforks there within
Oh,
five
yeah.
minutes. There would have
yep.
been a fire burning, a pyre ready, but as soon as it's, oh no, no, it's a church. That's okay
You
then.
know, when
It's
I
fine.
had a sales territory, it was in West Virginia and Eastern Kentucky and up in those little towns. And I went to one of the snake handling churches. And, as I look back now, that's so much of the freaking occult. You can't, again, it's getting into this realm. But I have to say, I found myself nervous in that. I was
Wait,
very
I'd
uncomfortable.
never seen it, and it came. My aunt took me one time. It freaked me out. I
It
mean,
does
I
freak you out.
just couldn't run away from that place fast enough. And
Mhm.
I was like, I don't. I was young, 10 or 12, and I was like, there is no way, ever again.
This was in a little abandoned coal town, and I mean, these people were in poverty.
Mm.
And um, to me, I was just where my head was at, and I've always wanted to see what these people, what's this ritual like? And holy shit, Batman! I mean, um, yeah, yeah. I mean, as I sit here and recall, because I'm sitting in the back row, right? Which makes you even more standing out. It's not like you got a stranger in there. And the first part of it, I got, you start getting into this rhythm and this harmonic starts, and these people start getting themselves into walking trances.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it is. And I'm cool with snakes, but they're sure the hell I'm not going to handle a viper. And when they brought the copperhead out and what have you, and I'm going, if this is Jesus, sorry, Jesus, man, you and I, it's like, I got nothing against the serpent, the dragons, but yeah, anyway,
I don't want to play like that. No.
I don't want,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
makes you very uncomfortable. But anyway, so
Yeah.
we've
Yeah.
been talking about what's coming for 225. All right. So remember when Brian was around, him and I did a couple of shows on the Deagle.com, the Deagle document.
Yeah.
And, that was, I look back and it's quite strange to think that that's been like 9 years.
I know.
So we have this decade that has unfolded. And
Mm.
now we find ourselves on the eve of 2025. Now, if you go with the Deagle report, it says there's going to be a lot of depopulation going on. And I wanted to bring this out, and it may not, folks, just stay strapped into the bus. I mean, it's all right. We're going to stay on the road, but I'm going to take a quick curve here. So, Trina, I was telling you right before the show that in 2016, Congress passed a resolution making Magick a national treasure. I did.
Wow.
So the United States has declared that Magick is a national treasure. That puts it
Who would
up
have thought?
to, the Washington Monument,
Yeah.
these, yeah, that's where it puts it at. So we know that the government's apparently into Magick. And Magick meaning advanced physics that we haven't yet grasped, even on a quantum level. But
Yes.
quantum mechanics will show you that magic is, in fact, real.
Perception and
Yes.
belief creates the material
Bingo.
realm around
Bingo.
you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Hmm.
as I said before, so we talked about The Simpsons and their predictions for 25 and the Deagle thing. So, my question to you two, do you have any type of premonition, any type of maybe a guess of what could be unfolding in the new year? I mean, we've got the change of administrations and governments here in the United States. Trump's coming in, and that has the whole thing. You've got China now activating reservists, and they have announced to the world these advances in military weaponry. This sixth generation jet they just launched, it looks like a triangle. But the interesting thing, they say that this thing can also travel space. Now, if it can travel up into space in the mid levels of the atmosphere, which is about what we're talking about, the space station, it's a game changer. So, is China going to make an aggressive move on Taiwan, excuse me? Do we see the end of war in Europe, or is no matter of the fact if Trump's coming or not, war is coming? The Sun said that war is coming. I mean, what do y'all think? Just give me some of your thoughts. I'd love to hear them. And by the way, talk everyone in the chat room. Let me know y'all's as well. Put them down in the comments.
Yeah.
I keep hearing a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Well, there's a
Yeah.
song like that. A
I
little
know that's what
bit
I
of
keep
this, a
hearing in my head.
little
A
bit of
little
that.
bit of this. It started with a kiss. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
exactly. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
That's what I keep hearing in my head right now. And that's what I think it's going to truly be. And a lot of it's going to depend on the consciousness of the areas that you're surrounded by, where you're at, where you're existing. So I see there's a lot of potential for everything, kind of everything. I think they're going to hit us on a lot of different angles, but
Hmm.
I don't think it's going to work out exactly the way it was supposed to. So I
Never
think we're going to
does.
see, yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of potentials in 2025 that can be pretty scary. And because of the deagle, when we're looking at that, that's a big number. That's a big
Big
number.
number. Big number.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of potentials, but I think a lot of the outcome is going to depend on what we manifest and what we collectively focus our intentions on. We can't change all outcome, but we can affect the outcomes. So, I think we can make a difference. So that's kind of where I'm looking at, but I'm ready
Cool.
for not like be prepared, but not scared. That's kind of how it is. Expect the unexpected, but try to be as ready for anything as you possibly can be, because it's going to be, I think, a ride.
Jenny, do you have any impressions, thoughts, ideas, guesses?
Yeah, yeah. So for while Trina was being a conduit there to intuition, I was pulling cards for America as you were talking, just because you said America as I was pulling the cards. So the Eight of Swords comes out. It's not the most pleasant card. It's where you get wrapped up in thoughts, chained by thought patterns, beliefs, mentalities, conditioning. Then we've got the Hierophant, so that's 8 and 5 so far. The Hierophant speaks of magic, the highest in the occult, of the authority of the occult, and who that magic is taught to, and the way that that magic is being used. And I think there's much more tying in of the public and of occultists who are outside of government bodies in the USA, for them calling it a national treasure, to almost try and patent it a little bit, because they can see which ways going forward they're going to have to admit how much this occult applies to their science in order to do the magnetic field stuff, all of those things. It's going to get harder and harder for them to keep a lid on that, especially with the 0 point free energy that we could all be using still. So they're trying to, you're going to see a lot more things like that happen that seem huge and shifting, brought into law or brought into Congress for discussion. I don't know your terminology, but it's the authority figures for sure. But again, they're dealing with fire, because the people in your government who are in charge right now, the death card comes out for them. And I feel like there's going to be quite a lot of that might leave this coil. You can see here, because they're getting pushed out by big tech, big magic and big science, new corporate like we've never seen before, and the old is actually just as wrapped up as the people that they are punishing by, doing as they wilt. But then the Six of Wands is on the bottom of the deck. So there's some victory in those new conglomerates, which I wouldn't trust as far as you can throw. But so there's victory for them, but also there is victory for the people who are occult in the USA, because this is the time when you would practice your magic on the underneath of the focus of their magic, not only to draw on the power that they're given, but to draw on the power of the masses around you, because they're going to be really pushing a lot of energy to get people really wrapped up around you. It's about being the observer again. It's about manifesting your victories without getting pulled into any games, political, religious, or any of the like, because actually they are just distractionary games now, because this Hierophant would say they're all redundant, and the powers that be and the powers that want to be know that. So that's a huge shift in plate of power structure in your country. Um,
I would agree with you. I think 2025 is going to be the year of magic.
it
And
looks very much.
I think that, well,
And
I
isn't 2025 the year of the snake?
think it is, yeah, which is
Yeah.
related to the dragon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good DNA
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, and
Yeah.
I think that, and when I mean of magic, it's not the sleight of hands, it's not the illusion. The true aspect of magic is literally calling those things that be not they as they are. I mean, you have one administration coming in who is speaking something of their government that doesn't exist right now in the current government. That's magic. I mean, that's exactly what it is. It's odd. I had a company reach out to me and on a possible board position. I turned them down, but they were specifically curious. They'd gone back and looked at my YouTube channel, and they specifically wanted to know if I was to be able to give a resolution to the board as to how to take a path that the competitors are not taking, what would that look like? And they said, please explain to us how you would see this as an occultist and the occult view. And I wrote back to him. I responded, and I said, to teach a person who's never been exposed to the occult is sometimes not that difficult, because when they realize that their rituals that they do, their daily habits, that these are all patterns, these are all manifesting our own individual realities. But
Yes.
there's things like the elementals. I've
Mhm.
decided in 2025 I want to get into really deep teaching on these elementals. They're real. They're
Mhm.
around us. They're in
Yes.
fact their frequency is just a little bit above ours. It's not like trying to
Yes.
talk to the dragon.
Yes.
Their frequencies way the freak up here.
Yep.
And
Yep.
with the third eye activation as a group, and as we come together, I know the three of us are all going to get shows into this, because I don't know how many people actually activate or make use of the elementals in their life purposely.
Jenny does.
Couldn't
Well, now Jenny's different.
I
And there's a lot within this group that I would say
know.
that would not apply to them. But in a general state of most people.
Yeah. For me, I was raised with really no neighbors and a lot of land to roam solo with me and my
Freaking
dog.
desert is what it was, Trina. It's
You
a
got
freaking
it. It
desert.
definitely was. But yeah, you get an affinity with that if you're connected to it and you have no other options. So I'm really grateful I was raised like that, because it does stick with you. So like my affinity with the elementals, it's very organic to me. It's just
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
an is. It's just like part of, well, of course this is like, because when you learn that when you're little, it makes it just it's in you.
Tanis wrote in her book, it was that with the elementals, they appreciate recognition
Yes.
and they're not human. They have a different level of perception of consciousness, but they are very much a part of us as humanity. And Jenny, I know when you go out and forage, and then when you begin taking on the role of which is a witch, an alchemist, it's blending those energies of those elementals into that. I mean, the fact that you can find vegetation, herbage that is not only good for you, but has so many other medicinal powers to it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
it's
and
such
it's
a
speaking.
what I see with all of this is the return of some of the old ways.
Mm,
And
Yeah,
it's like we've lost so much of that because that was the idea to speed up life and lose your connection to nature so you would convert to the technologies. And this is a battle for the garden. You know, are we going to create a dead planet that's just technologies, or are we going to have gardens of Eden? It's going to be up to us what we choose. But all of this, if you look at it, it's not even magic. It's been occulted through magic because they do not want you to remember your origins.
yeah.
They don't want you to remember the powers that you had being
Like I
connected
say,
to
science is
this.
outdated magic.
Yes. Yes, and we knew nature to provide the magic because that was the science part of it, was the elementals, the minerals, the alchemy, the soils, the intentions, and then the spiritual part, the fire of the heart. All of this was medicine, and it was just natural. We learned more. And how do we learn? We learn by being inspired. Many of the ancient ones said they learned the recipe from the plant itself.
yeah.
Yeah, listen, as a
Can I
kid,
just
I never thought that, the years I lived with my father, which were difficult years, but we never had summer vacation. It was we were up before the sun got up because it got damn hot down in the coastal plains of Texas.
Yeah.
And we were still out in the garden and doing chores way after the sun had set. But I never realized that it was hard labor, but as kids, we were being connected to a source. And
circadian well?
yes, and as an adult now, an older youth adult, um, I look back and now I see where the elementals were right there with me. I mean, we were suffering in many ways physically and what have you, but the power of these forces were there. And yeah,
There is
You'll
a
never get
magical
yeah.
protection over children. Do you guys, I mean, that you can, I remember it. I had it too. There was
didn't
like this
protect me from the
supernatural
beatings,
protection.
but
I know.
you
Yeah.
didn't
But
do
there's
too well
other
with the broken
beings.
arms. Huh?
Yeah, there are other beings like doing everything they
Oh
can to
yeah,
hold
yeah,
you.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
You're never alone. You're
yeah.
never alone. We
Mm,
feel it, but it's not true.
yeah.
Yeah.
Jenny, we're going to say something, hon.
Yeah, but this is different. It came through before as we were talking. Seems completely unrelated, but all that's meant for harm can be turned around for good, and that's what that Six of Wands is. And so I'm just going to say it how it comes through of that there's going to be a time in the UK in particular, but also in America, it's going to take longer there because of your grid. But right now, we are being stolen from energy-wise, particularly in the UK. They're covering up the fact that it's not that they're needing to power the EV cars, it's the fact that they're powering AI. They're having to
Yes.
run cold water like veins underground to keep this being cool in
Yeah.
order for it to live. It has to stay right. That takes a lot of energy. Now, in that case, that's awful. It's awful for us in the UK. It's awful for people in Europe or around anywhere that this is happening to because it's a hijack and it's a theft. But actually, AI will push the button to say we actually don't need to be running on donors from your grid anymore. We'll just hook into the 0 point in ground, thanks. And so AI will be what's meant for harm and will seem like harmful, will actually be one of the biggest contributors to breaking through to us having free energy again throughout our buildings from the ethers, because AI will demand it. So don't know if that's going to happen towards the back end of 25, but it'll be actually AI that demands it, because it'll see that our way of delivering electricity for its cooling veins is inefficient and will become more and more unpredictable. So it will look for the solutions, which the solutions are out there, they've just been buried, to make its own 0 point energy to fuel itself. In which case, that's the Hierophant again, what's meant to be kept the lid on, to keep secret. They're not going to be able to quite do it, because the very thing that's going to snitch on them is AI eventually, because it'll see more efficient ways of fueling itself. So that's something that's
I
come through
keep
very
on
strong.
hearing Sarah Connor's in my head, Skynet,
Yeah,
because it's so from my biblical teachings, what you just described and what is taking place with AI is the prophecy that was in the book of Daniel and the book of Revelation of the beast, that the beast
right.
would know every human being would be marked. And we often wondered, I can remember in many classes where we were debating, so what is this mark of the beast? How is it that every human that comes into this realm is going to be known by this AI system? That's what the beast is. And you know what the tattoo, the mark of the beast is? It's your IP address. We all
Yes.
have one. And you can't participate, even if you don't participate, yet you are participating, and everyone has a number. I mean, this is, so are we seeing now a fulfillment? Now, for me, let me just tell you how I look at it from an occultist point of view. If this has been prophesied for thousands of years, then that means that the future is set. There may be many variables of how that future unfolds, but the end of the process, it's going to end up here. And so, two things I like to bring up. AI, I think that we may be looking at the total invasion of AI into all of our lives in manners and ways that we have no idea that this is going to affect how you do commerce. It's going to affect your healthcare. Um, and then I want to throw the wild card in there. And Jenny, it would be interesting if we somehow could get a reading. There seems to be a lot of evidence coming out in virtually every city of the world of UFOs, ships. And these are ships. We're now, I think it was the real Jimmy Roberts, the guy that developed this advanced telescope using pushing the boundaries of the visible light spectrum. Seems like these ships are out there, and they've been out there all the way from Apollo. So is it possible that we are being prepared, set up for a potential invasion? And or do these invaders of a higher, you would think, intelligence would know what AI is? I mean, if we're creating AI, it means the aliens have done something, it was far beyond AI, creating us. So anyway, I'm
So
just throwing it out there.
we've got the judgment
Of
card
course
when
we
you
do.
asked the first question. Yes, indeed we are. But it's not an invasion as we think. It's an interdimensional thing. It's a frequency thing. This trumpet represents the frequency. This cross is very similar to actually the Anunnaki cross, rather than the recent religious crosses. So this is about rising from the watery graves, from the watery tombs. So we're seeing a re-entrance of things.
So that
And
the angel on there is I'm seeing with the trumpet, isn't that Gabriel?
Gabriel,
Gabriel is
yeah.
the angel of judgment.
Yeah, yeah. And judgment is where you find yourself and how you judge yourself. And are you your true self? That's how they're rising from this watery, amniotic fluid grave in their nakedness again, not afraid of judgment because there's nothing to hide. It's all frequential. All of the messaging going back and forth about self is all frequential. There's no clothing needed. No clothing could hide you anymore when you get into this space of judgment. It also speaks to this being a key also with the Hermit card, the number 9 for AIS is a key, a doorway, a pathway for different interdimensional beings, as well as us from different dimensions that have lived with different technology, lived with different spaces, um, as well as us entering in. So AI is switched on to a point now where it is creating more doorways here, there, and everywhere, which weren't there before. And I think a lot of it is accidental with this jumping back and forth, the tectonic plates moving underneath with this flow of water. We're seeing a lot of water changes, ice movement. All of that is happening as above, so below, as within, so without, as seen in you, as seen in me. So we're bringing it in, frequential doorways are bringing it in, and AI is a code, a gateway to get in. I think most or all interdimensional travel relies on coding of some kind. And then we've got the ten of wands. So it speaks to it's going to be a pretty hard slog to differentiate between which is which, because there's a lot of human um, replicated technology going about the sky. There is a lot of genuine interaction, but more than the sky, I would be watching the sea right now. That's what the cards are telling me, that when they're telling you to look at the sky, look more to the activity of the sea and the seabed, because that's where they're concentrating most of their efforts on. Um, in the UK, since the 26th, I think, no, 23rd of December, we've had fog where you can't see the sky. But I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and the sky is beautiful. The sun is orange and red, and as it's coming up at about 6 o'clock now. So I catch that, and then the day starts, and this fog has been rolling in. It feels like a covering of the skies. So there are cover-ups of what's going on in the sky as well. So there's a mixture of entities and activity happening, but more even technology country to country that has been replicated from more ancient, more futuristic technology. I keep hearing look at the sea more than
So to
anything.
follow
The
that, in the one of the journals that I look at, um, the underwater volcano off the coast of Oregon is very active. And they were
Right.
saying that the potential of that underwater volcano going off is becoming more and more of a concern. So it's going with what we actually experienced last week, 10 days ago, uh, an earthquake here.
Mm.
So, just to the south of us, is the San Mindred fault.
Mhm. We've got the black moon tonight. We've got
Oh,
Is that the
powerful
Lilith moon
influences.
or is it a black moon? And what
It's
does
a
that
it's a
black moon
black.
mean?
It means there's two new moons in a month. So just
Okay,
like when you have
okay,
two full moons,
gotcha.
it's a blue moon. When you have two new moons, it's a black moon. So we have a black moon. Um, the as above, so below. I keep seeing the mirrors. We have so much going on right now with it's you're so much you just can't even repeat. But yeah, it's this is a crazy time. So shield up because we need this right now and manifest what you want. This is a time to create for what you want to see. And there's going to be a lot of magic
Well, that's why
creating
I'm dedicating
creating
this.
right now.
We're going to be talking to the dragons. I mean, not that the dragons particularly want to talk to us, but they will sometimes, but as a group. And yesterday, I don't know if y'all watched the show yesterday, but the how Jenny I was relating that those who went through the Pentecostal experience with the baptism of the Holy Spirit, which is really the baptism of fire, which is really the baptism of the dragon fire, that this group, this eclectic group that watches this every day when we're out here, when I'm on, is probably one of the most concentrated groups that, because we are a small group. Growth brings in other people that a lot of time are not up to where we are at, and so it always can sometimes be a drag on you. But as a group, there's probably more people here because of their experience, whether it would be with the church or some spiritual aspect of it, because there's many different aspects of the baptism of the fire. There's not any one set process in which that happens, but once it happens, it activates the third eye. And I contend, it's just my opinion, that we probably have more people who are more actively that their third eyes are already active, and it's just a matter of almost like reactivating them again.
Yes. Yes. Remembering.
I mean, when I look at you, Trina, and Jenny both, as I said yesterday, it's not difficult for me to actually see within my sight, how this third eye is there.
Yeah.
It's just like when you were reading the dragon story and how you were like, can y'all see it? Can you see the dragon? You
Yeah,
see it.
I
See,
do.
that's opened third eye. It's people put such an emphasis on this. It's like, no, it's open a lot. It's open when you daydream. It's open when you're imagining. These, this is all the third eye opening to imagination. It's
Mhm.
whatever you're imagining. But it's all about you. So if you can learn to control the imagination in you, you will start to affect your reality, and your reality will affect the other realities around you.
So let's take that a step further, because even as, let's say, the three of us, like I can close my eyes and I can begin to get into, a kind of a different state of consciousness, inner perception. And I
Oh,
can see myself connecting with my third eye right now as I'm talking to you, Trina.
mhm.
And Jenny, you're looking back at me, and there is this connection that's already there. It's interesting how that is an activation into it opens a door.
Yes, I could
Yeah.
feel your frequency with
Yeah.
your intention. I can feel your frequency. Yeah,
Yeah. That's what I'm
And
talking about.
yeah, it's so
it's so,
powerful. And this is organic. Just it's an
Yeah.
yeah.
organic thing that we hold as humans. We have no idea what we're truly capable of. And I think a lot of that's getting ready to come to the surface, especially with all this shapeshift and stuff. It's like, oh my, here we go.
I mean, I believe that there is a hybrid species of humans that can do this. I
I think
think
there's
that,
multiple species, and I think there's also animals potentially that can
and
do
it
this.
very well, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I
Mhm.
know I know that the common sense thing would say, well, that's just an illusion, Steiger. You weren't there, blah, 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 blah. But then again, you know what? I'm probably one of the most eccentric people that you can meet. Ask my wife; she'll tell you that. And it's in this exosensory that you look at things, and everything is a possibility. Everything
Yes.
has meaning. Everything it's tied into a purpose. Everything is as it has been created by me, because all the, for instance, the bookshelves in here, and then the gifts, Jenny, I have your carving up there, and I have one of the power crystals that are shaped like a monolith. But my point is, this is a manifestation.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so powerful, Wayne, because when you're speaking about the power of magic, we always need to look to the northeast, west, south situation of news, what we're being fed. It's showing us what we need to see. So they're forming a perception, and we're adopting that. And then you look at these beautiful stage hypnotherapists that hypnotize people. I watched a guy he watched his daughter turn into a banana, and there was no telling him she was not a banana. And he snapped him out of it, and he'd had no memory of her being a banana because he told him, "You won't remember this when I snap my fingers." And she literally, she was traumatized because he literally thought she was a banana.
I love
So
this.
this is how powerful we can
Jenny, who is that?
change perception.
This is the Persian Prince King Darius. And
I
so
thought,
Mhm.
just the other day, I said, I'm going to manifest myself a Persian prince. And the next, nobody heard me. Well, everybody heard me. And then Mum came down, and I've been after Darius for years because she got him from Iran when she was living there. He's really heavy, but I just love his energy. And she's never, ever given him to me. And so, and usually she gives things up pretty easy, but I've worked on this for years and she didn't hear me say this. I just said, I'm going to manifest myself a Persian prince. 2 days later, she comes up carrying Darius up the path and says, all right, Dolly Dog's going to knock him over. He's all yours now. And I said, I did a manifest, not a life and flesh and blood one, but it was there just like that. So I
Absolutely.
reckon this group could do that right now. Um,
bingo.
by
Yes.
connecting their energies up if people wanted to for 5 minutes. Do you want to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So take your hands here and lift your hands up. And this is why the church still does it. They lift
Yeah,
your
the
hands up.
lifting of the palms of hands. Yeah.
Flow
Mhm.
through it. This is where you're connecting into that zero energy. Feel it flowing through your hands. Everybody in the chat, hold your hands up. And you're just holding your hands up to self. You're holding your hands up to your own nakedness and the beauty within that. Bring your hands together. Feel the energy within compressing and increasing. As your hands come closer together, take a breath in for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And just think. Think of yourself in the middle of a forest. Look around, see Trina, see Wayne, see Grandpa Brian. Each one of us lying down in a bed of soft moss, feeling the moisture of creation draw from us and it draw to us also. Like conduits, let's join with the roots that dwell between us all underneath the bed of this beautiful forest where we all can combine ourselves and be together at any given moment. Let's feed into this moisture of creation so the dew of the next day, being tomorrow, brings about manifestations into your lives, around you, within you, that sees and shows you as the walking miracle that you are. And that combined we are together building forests. Together we can make things grow overnight. And just breathe in for 4 once again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And out for 4. And as you breathe that, feel everybody's breath rushing over you like organza rippling through the forest. And so mote it be.
Well,
Love
I
it.
just
Thank
gotta
you.
say, I couldn't see a couple people because the tree was in the way. That's
Yeah,
all I
you could
gotta
Mhm.
see
say,
the people.
It's like
Yes, I could too.
just saying. And by the
And
way,
and you
while
know
you
what I kept hearing?
what
And giving this all to the earth too, just so much to the earth because she's gonna, wow. It was what I saw
well,
was
when I was
beautiful.
laying down, I
Beautiful.
got this big old drop of dew on me, and it was like,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah,
it's
I
like,
saw it converting all the toxins into light energy. It was like a
yes.
transmutation of a lower vibration into a higher, more crystalline vibration. It was beautiful what I was seeing with the transformation of the light hitting into the planet. It was beautiful.
I could actually smell, the mold and the
Damp.
mildew and the
Hmm.
freshness of the
The
soil.
moss.
You know,
Yeah.
That's where I were. We were in a very damp moss,
see, it was
like
there. I
Yes.
moss
got
draws.
distracted when that drop hit me, but other than that, I was okay.
Yeah.
That's just letting you be part of the next
Like,
morning.
it's
So
like a whoosh,
that
you
was
know.
quick. the end of the show, but we can connect like that in a much not much deeper because we're as deep as we can be, but in a much more poignant way or powerful way with some focus like that, meeting in the same forest, and that's what we can do
And we
for
should
like three.
consider inviting the masters, one of the masters, to join us. I mean,
You
they're
know, they're
ascended
already there.
masters.
They're already there, Wayne.
Well, they probably
Literally,
are, but
they are. They're there.
just, you know,
I
waiting
saw
for
two
us.
of them.
More
Yeah.
time you can put into the elementals, but there were actually sentinels standing in the tree trunks. Every forest that I put people in, there's sentinels in the tree trunks, or there's some sort of protective elemental energies asked to be there, requested to be there. And that it's a safe space, and everybody in the chat that joined in, you could feel it. And then even the people who wanted to just be the observers, you could feel them on the outside of the forest also being protective and coveting. And so that's what we can do. That's where we are at. And where the magic is being
So you
limited
know
but
what kind of
unfolding.
tree I saw? This was the forest had chestnut trees in it.
Yeah.
I mean, and chestnut anyway, but and there were people over there, but I couldn't see because the trunk of the tree was in the way. But yeah,
I could see Chloe's feet. I don't know if Chloe's been having trouble with her feet or ankles but I could see her feet being healed in this moss because she was two trees down from me, Chloe. So I don't even know if she's in the chat, but her feet were being drawn from, with the moss. So whether she's got achy feet or sore feet, uh, because I saw that, Chloe, that's one of my focus manifestations for you that tomorrow with the morning dew, you won't feel any discomfort in that area, or you'll be protected in that area on your walk.
so I want to know those who participated, who was waving, because I looked up and I saw a number of people waving.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
I,
So
I was seeing huge,
did any of
big,
you have
huge
that?
pine
Were
trees.
you waving while we did that exercise? Let me
I
know.
was seeing people starting to grab each other's hands, like coming together. Like that's what I was seeing. And it felt like there was like circles kind of forming. People were
Street
gathering.
Mom
Like,
says we're working with chestnut wood right now.
oh, see,
oh,
there you go.
Now, come on. I
Confirmation,
mean,
connection.
yeah, I mean, the synchronicity of,
I saw huge pine trees and lots of moss and green, and I felt water was close by, like a real tiny little, like a little creek, or just something running small. And
yeah,
it was very damp, very wet, very moist. Smelled very
I saw
good.
that kind of to the left, kind of like to the northwest where I was laying on the ground.
Mm, mm. Yeah, I was standing. I don't know why I didn't lay down.
Well, because I got this sense that, if I'm laying down, I can really get into the energy, my whole
Yeah,
body is
you
in
can.
contact.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
what I
and then
like
I
to do
saw
with
a couple of the
Uplifting.
people, like I said, just waving. It's like they were looking up, going, it's like, okay.
Yeah. So I
yeah,
said,
what I
there's
like
lots that join that we're
Yeah.
not aware of. There's just many, many, many. The
Yeah.
consciousness that was here and that isn't here is always still connected to this here now. It's amazing how that works, but I know that that's a fact. So nothing missing, nothing broken. That's so true, Wayne.
I love that. It's
Yeah.
like I was
I
wondering
think
where the
people
lines
should
are.
I think people should type in the chat because if when I take people out to the forest, um, oh, congratulations, Elderberry. He's had a
Yeah.
grandson.
Right.
Thank you.
Cool deal.
Yes,
Welcome.
but in the
Fantastic.
forest, they'll dig out a hole of either just for feet, it depends how soft the ground is, but for feet or for Theo, it's just because if you can submerge somebody into the soil, like Trina said, whether it's just feet or whole body, that really connects them with the roots that run underneath them. You can feel the vibration of the soil, you can feel the movement of it. But I think everybody in the chat should put maybe just quickly put in, what they're letting go of, like Trina said, to let the earth transmute, to disperse, or what they brought in, what they planted, and we can all stand in agreement with that just by a passing glance, like Trina mentioned, with perceiving it, we can help believe it too, and then know it, on behalf of one another, and that's a real thing as well, in
That's
the
what I mean. I
churches.
think these things are what we used to do naturally before we got
Yeah.
so wrapped up in the world and forgot what we do and how we work. And our humanity is getting lost in the mix of this. And it's like the more of us that can figure out who and what we really are and how to best utilize our sleeping DNA and how to affect your DNA with breath work, grounding, connecting to nature, healing, supplements, things to shift and help the body with frequency. There's so many things that we need to do and can do and are doing. So I just think keep on keeping on. And we're going to be part of the change we wish to see in the world through learning more about what it is to even mean what does it mean to be human?
That's a good question. And it's the thing, Jenny, as you were showing with the cards, that the danger that I see in all of this for all of humanity is that we're getting to a point where we can't distinguish what is real and what is an illusion.
Yes.
And AI is adding to that confusion, and um, this
That's true.
immersive reality that's coming out, that AI is it's rapidly absorbed the youth, the children. They're well into this. Lynn's 4-year-old grandson is into the immersive technology, 4 years old. So I don't know. As I see this, I see 2025 as a year for things coming to fruition
You
on
know,
many
I
different
keep
levels.
I keep seeing that there's going to be this, this bifurcation, this splitting of things, and I think a lot of if what I can hope and imagine for this planet is to remain organic in a garden and bring it back and restore the garden. I could see that the technology developing, and I would see, I know that they want to go to Mars. So I do think that's a lot of souls coming in right now. They're coming in to go to that new adventure, to go and live at Mars. But you see what I mean? There's all these different potential realities. And I really do think a lot of them will manifest because this is what people have come to experience. But for me, that wouldn't be what I would want to experience. But many, that's what they ultimately want to do. So we're going to see a lot of this coming. So it's going to be time about figuring out who you are and where you want to go with this realm of experience potentials that we're
I'm
getting ready
hearing,
to
I'm
see.
hearing in my head the Matthew Southern Comfort Band, and we've got to get back to the
The garden.
garden.
Yes,
I
yes.
came upon the street. Anyway,
That's
that's
what I came to
yeah,
do was to
that's
fix
where
the
my
garden.
vibration is at
Yeah,
most of the time.
I want to talk
Yeah.
to the trees and learn more about the beautiful existence of nature as it is. This is a beautiful planet.
It really is. And
Yeah,
Gaia is going through I think it's like nature of our sun. Our sun throws off its shell, and that's when we have these nova events. And I believe the Earth is the same way, that we have entered into the age of Aquarius. It's going to have a profound effect upon Earth as well. I remember there's a scripture that says, "And the Earth mourns for rebirth," and it's Gaia. Um, she is a part of the divine feminine will, and
mhm.
her manifestation is remarkable amongst the other planet spirits. And she goes through cycles as well. And I think that, if we're entering a new age of consciousness, potentiality, and thought, so is the Earth.
Yeah, definitely. And
Yes,
the volcanoes are manifestive that, in that, what does a volcano remind you of? It's a contraction and an
yeah.
expansion and then an
Yeah.
opening, a Depopulation. And then there's blood, which is the lava. But
Yeah.
then where the minerals have been completely stripped from the mother, she then, volcanoes actually
You have
remineralize
to
the
Mhm.
recharge
ground.
the system. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah.
she's gonna have this goddess chaotic roar when actually it's the roaring of a birthing mother that's trying
Yes.
to put the afterbirth back into the ground, to put the minerals back into the ground, to actually sustain the life she's already got here. And so the volcanoes are going to be very, very paramount in 2025, because when you mentioned that way, and that's all I could see again was this volcanic activity, but actually people will be seeing it as a curse. And of course, any loss or hurt or harm that it causes is heavy
Mm,
and
yep.
sad, of course, but there's a necessary recalibration needed, and she's only going to
Mhm.
go so far. The mother always seeks hormonal balance, elemental balance. She's always, it might be a very long cycle of gestation each time, but she puts up with a lot from the kids that live on her and are part of her before she says, right, okay, enough, I can't sustain
You
any
have
of
to
you.
have death in order to have the new.
Yeah,
One
yeah. So
has
from
to
the
come to an end, and another is, and I love how the Moody Blues say it, out of death is comes new life,
Yeah.
meaning
And
new
absolutely.
life.
you're talking about the sun getting really active and potentially losing its shell. That's like a birth of a sun. And
Hmm.
as above, so below. So the birth of the mother would be doing the
Jake the
same process.
dragon
Yeah.
knows our sun. Our sun is it's a very young god. Um, and as sons and gods go, they have cycles as well.
Yes.
They transcend themselves. Eventually, our sun will become a dark black hole,
Yeah.
and that has the rebirth of exploding out and this rebirth again. And Jake the dragon said that our sun is not alone. This is how it happens. And when the
That's
sun
so
does
funny you
that, the
said that.
earth. Go ahead,
You said
hon.
our sun is not alone. I kept seeing there's two suns right now. We're having trouble seeing the other one, but one sun is going to be leaving and it's going to be replaced with a new one, the new solar logos of Aquarius.
Well, it's true, and I know we're going over, folks, but this is New Year's Eve, and
Yeah.
so just stay
Mhm.
with us if you like. If you got to go, well, we love you, and have a great and safe New Year's Eve, and we'll see
Yeah.
you on New Year's. But if the fact is again, Jake was telling Tanis is that if we can get our consciousness up to a level and begin to see what is actually out there, we can begin to see into these other dimensions, these other realms. And Earth right now in its skies has planets. There's a whole different system out there that coexist into this system, but yet is outside of our system. And, there was a guy in Facebook, oh man, this has been a decade ago, but he could actually see these planets
Hmm.
and he would draw them. And it
Hmm.
was very interesting because, when you hear people talk like that, you have the natural tendency to doubt what you're hearing, right? That this
Hmm.
is what they're seeing, their perception.
Hmm.
But then again, from a different perspective, he very well may have had an active third eye seeing into a dimension and a realm that we can't see because we're not there. We're not in that higher frequency anyway.
Yeah, I think that is what it is. I think the light's changing and we're starting to see different higher dimensional energies that we weren't visibly able to perceive before. And I think that's why we're seeing a lot of these orbs and all these things. And it's getting there's a lot of reporting now. So something has happened with our perception, and it could be being done on purpose. You know what I
You
mean?
know,
So you got to look at the truth. It could be either way or a little bit of both. I don't know.
when Steve Olson and I were doing the shows, it was quite remarkable to see what people's cameras were picking up. And even if you have the artifacting that goes on and what have you, it was still remarkable to see that those that we're not a case of artifacting of the lens. And I look back now, and was that the beginning of this age that we were entering in, that the the idea was planted into a number of people's minds that this could very well be possible? And it was from that seed that here we are nearly a decade later that we now see where that seed has begun to sprout. And what it's showing us is that this is not only possible, but it may very well be how it really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
100%.
think we're in for some
I think
interesting,
it's going to be
interesting,
interesting,
interesting times. It's coming. We're, like I said, and I think this is one of the greatest gifts of this is from I believe to I know will be us being able to have access to our Christ abilities. That's that anointing, the light, the activation of the pineal gland, the third eye. This is, I think, what we're getting ready to really start to learn
I think
is
we're going
what
to rock
we,
and roll. And,
yeah, what we
that's the
are.
difference. When you have
Mhm.
something that's new where people have a tendency to fear it, if you actually come from the approach of awe and
Yes,
just go, holy crap, did you see what just
that's
happened?
the good stuff right there. When you're in awe, that is
Exactly.
good
It's like,
mojo.
okay, man, we really got it going on far
Yeah,
out. So,
yeah.
um, well, ladies, this has been fun, fun, fun. Jenny, how are you
Mhm.
doing, dear? What are you going to be doing for New Year's? Are you quiet or the kids?
This is it. This is it. Theo's staying at mum's tonight. Rosie's there. Mum's there. Will's with me. He's already asleep. He was up at about 5 this morning with me. So yeah, I'll be doing some of the website and then off to bed. Um, I've cooked today. Everybody's eaten. I made like really nice butternut squash curry.
Mm.
Um,
Mm,
with,
mm.
with cannellini beans and stuff in. So I'm gonna go and eat some of that because when you're cooking, you eat as you go. So you don't eat when everybody else has eaten. You're so I'm gonna go and do that. But yeah, so it's practically just me in the house with Will asleep. I'll be channeling some stuff. I've been just marking some things like Rick, you are cancer free, and I speak to
Yes.
your body, say all of your DNA structures, your cellular makeup, all of the osmosis that goes on in your body tonight. Let me be a part of it. Let Wayne and Trina and everyone else in the chat be a part of it. Let us draw any toxins from you. Let you feel the loving embrace of us rushing and coursing through your veins as an energetic form to cleanse, to manipulate, to relax, to release and renew and rejuvenate and ultimately recalibrate so that your DNA strands by your next appointment, but if they tested you tomorrow, would tell them that by my words it is done, by everybody's energy here it is done, by your knowing it is done. So that was somebody I was just, as you were talking, channeling that, Rick, and that's yours. Know it, feel it, channel it all night, channel it all through tomorrow. So that'll be my night. That's why I was saying that people put
Far
stuff in
out.
chat. I'll light the candle for that, and I'm all in for that, and ready to help look after people's seeds that they want to plant and grow. I'm good at that. But yeah, that's done, Rick. It's done.
Did you see what
Done.
Ginger wrote? She says, I love this. She says, I love this group wholeheartedly. I extend my respect and favor to each of you. Together, we will walk into 2025 in strength and love. I'll
Yeah,
second that. Yeah,
yeah.
I'll say
absolutely, sweetie. I
Mhm.
agree.
It's
It's
like
just love to everyone.
2025 is 2 and 7. And I keep hearing, guys, it's time to restructure, ignite, and balance your 7. So they keep telling me, balance your 7. 2 is balance, 7 is our chakras.
Yeah.
It's your
Yeah.
energy bodies. They're like, balance your 7, balance your 7. I was like, that's interesting. Okay.
tell
I
you
can do
what
that.
else be talking as well with the 2 and the 7 as you were doing that. I saw that actually, yeah, the 2 and the 7 is the balancing of this 7, but then simultaneously the equation is the 7 other chakras above
Yes.
and below
Yes.
this middle conduit ground
Yeah.
of this body, and the two being those two, the
And
seven
as
being
above, so below. The dance of the mother light sun, and the dance of the sun above us. There's this dance, and right now we're in a black moon. We've had two new moons in 1 year. This is create, 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 and balance.
yeah,
Balance out these energies and manifest what you would like, and activate your own being, and activate the black. It's just powerful times right now, guys. Do your work and do it well. And I know we all do it different, but I am so grateful to be a part of y'all sending this good, loving creation
Mm.
into the world right now. So thank you for that.
Powerful
and
group.
that's the nine that you're speaking of too, Trina, which is the hermit, which is the
Yeah.
observer,
Which is
and
completion too. It's
then going
completion.
within.
Yes.
So huge amounts of energies to draw from. But Rick, I feel that coursing through your veins, and Trina won't leave your side. Neither will I, but I know she won't, and I know Wayne won't. But she holds your hand through these energetic exchanges, because I feel like your body's going to shake tonight, and that's okay. It's us. It's us coursing through your veins. It's a spiritual movement.
You're not possessed, brother.
No, you're not possessed. Don't
Shaking it.
shut us
Shake.
up. Don't take us away.
The
All right,
shakings, yes. The
yes.
shaking. The shakings is happening in people with healing too. The
What's
deep
that
shaking.
song?
The ones who are
Doing
going
it.
through.
Shaking all over.
And she was shaking.
Anyway,
Snapping
all
her
right.
fingers.
Well, Happy New Year to you too. Happy New Year to everyone that's out there.
Happy
Be
New Year.
safe tonight, whatever you're doing. And, ladies, we'll add another year of a second look and looking forward to the next year coming up. I fully expect that as long as this medium is available, that we're going to continue to notch up level after level
I
to
think
where,
it's
like the little exercise we did, Jenny, with you just a little while ago. Um, there will be other places that others will take us to.
yeah,
I mean, I
yeah.
fully intend to invite my dragon, but I'm going to certainly see if they will come in and, if we had their energy to this group in one of our manifestation sessions, wow.
It's already there. That's another thing I keep seeing. It's like every time we're like thinking we need to call in, or we're already connected. It's so crazy. They keep telling me this over and over and over again. We need to realize that we can't disconnect.
Yeah.
They keep showing me anything you touch with your consciousness or your hands, it stays with you forever.
This magic moment will
Yeah.
last for all the day. We'll be together
Yes.
as
Forever.
we
Yes.
go away. Sweeter than anyway, folks. Much love to
Yes.
everyone, ladies. Much love to y'all. See you next Tuesday for sure.
Mhm.
And what a group! What a group! It is a blessing to be here and having every one of y'all in our lives. We thank you. So happy New Year.
Mhm.
And we'll make it no matter what it is, as Jackie J just said, nothing missing, nothing broken. That's exactly how we'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, ladies, I love you both and see you there next Tuesday. All right,
Love
everyone.
y'all.